Hi everyone, my name is Gayatri and today I will present my initiative for the United Nations Sustainable Development Challenge. The SDGI I chose is a number for quality education, where the final goal is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Education is a way of improving the quality of life. With the help of proper education for all, we will be able to develop more innovative solutions. Creating a capable foundation for future responsibilities within the young population can be achieved by imparting proper educational development. Despite the steady growth of the demographics of basic literacy, due to COVID-19, most of the schools being closed, the progress has been disturbed, where the most of the population are female and disabled candidates. Educational facilities like schools and universities need a special approach to provide a productive learning environment. The right environment can provide a child with learning opportunities and a will to study. Many children in rural parts of developing countries like India and South Africa do not attend schools due to lack of enough space. It is not only the availability of classrooms but also the basic amenities like washrooms and lack of inclusive built structure of school. Providing an inclusive environment for students with different special needs and also to the marginalized students with the same quality education should not be ignored to create a powerful demographics for quality education. Intellectually disabled children, which means children who differ in rational, physical, and behavioral aspects from most other children, need special care for their education and planned activities with research definite special characteristics. Intellectually disabled children have difficulty with simple learning tasks that includes making friends, self-care, mobility, and communication skills. Education is a universal human right for all, despite the nationality, gender, or intellectual and physical capacity. About 93 of 150 million disabled students are denied education or are not able to attend any school because of lack of inclusive amenities for disabled children. In some rural parts, about 95% of disabled children lack basic education and are out of school. Research also indicates that most children with disabilities are most commonly victimized by their caregivers and they have not been even reported. Though there is no guarantee that abilities will decrease or increase, it is important to give a healthy and adaptable environment with physical therapy within schools as their early development starts from the school and people around them. As the development of students will be based entirely on educational facilities, the key stakeholders will be teachers and staff, also the board members of the school. Other staff members like school nurses, bus drivers, and janitors have important role in making safe, productive, and inclusive educational environment. The school students are primary user, but also the caregivers, including uh, parents, grandparents, and teachers, can act as secondary users. The first president is the Sensory Wellbeing Hub in Chicago. For large public schools, it is hard for staff and teachers to notice the need of professional necessity for each of the student, and also for disabled and child students, learning environments can be overwhelming. Sensory Wellbeing Hub is constructed inside a classroom which can help special needs students with the space to find a serenity in knowledge. This hub is made up of moving panels with a reconstructable frame structure and affordable materials, as well as this design is available online for free. Inside the hub, there are various multisensory equipments that support range of sensory stimulations across all modalities and needs. This place has helped special needs students to join the classes and improve their moods before the class. This hub has narrowed down the gap between the education and under-noticed part of the society. The next is Inclusive Playground by Landscape Structures, a firm in USA. Uh, Play is an essential activity in a child's developmental age. Physical activities on the playground can challenge and inspire the child to create emotional and social connections with peers. This initiative is more than a wheelchair accessibility. Whereas in inclusive playgrounds, children of all abilities can discover their playing ways with all types of equipments. Rather than creating a safe closed space for children with disability within closed walls, an inclusive playground has an approach of giving children an opportunity to explore on their own levels. The third precedent is a video by World Bank, Disability Inclusion Matters for All. One of the most effective ways of reaching the maximum number of people is through the visual aid. Disability Inclusion Matters for All is a video part of the World Bank's Disability Inclusion and Accountability Framework. This awareness video is by the World Bank, has simple illustrations with background of rural and developing areas in the world. The color palette of this illustration is minimal with soft edges that create warm feelings. The awareness video is very short in duration, but overall it gives the example of better inclusivity and ways of inclusion of disabled people in normal activities. Disability Inclusion Matters for All shares the importance of early inclusive education for children with special needs. My first card set was the moon, prosthetic, and curiosity. The problem space I wanted to address here was that students with intellectual disabilities may have problems with understanding some concept of education that normal students can understand easily. So it is necessary to give them a practical or immersive experience for better understanding. Additionally, this sensory experience can also help students without disabilities to understand the concept more effectively. Here, all students have gathered in a class where they are learning about the moon and the gravitational force, but some students are unable to understand the concepts and lack of visualization. So the teacher installs a device for students where that device acts opposite to the Earth's gravitational force. Using this, students can understand the difference between Earth and other planets. For visual stimulation, high-tech optics that acts as prosthetics are worn to give visuals of the moon, and they experience the ambience with the peers and teachers. These optics will also show information about the specific planets. The second card set was hobbies, devices, and fur. In this, playgrounds are such a space where students interact with each other freely and share their likes and dislikes. By sharing, they gain emotional connection and confidence. But during inclusive activities, it can be hard for some special needs students to understand others' point of view, or they might struggle to connect with peers. Because of lack of understanding of activity on the same levels as other students, special needs students might have a shared wish to learn or perform as other students. So to address this problem, we need to create a same activities with the same goal only concerning inclusivity and not only accessibility. In this scenario, where two students are sharing their likes and dislikes, students with physical disability has a hard time understanding ideas of her peer towards dance. So she tries a device that is inspired by puppets with strings attached to it. This device will help physically disabled student with support while dancing. As well, this device can move on its own if we can install any specific movements to them. The same action can be done while painting, where the grip and support to the hands will be adjustable by the device attached to the hand. This helps both the students to understand each other's limits, likes, and dislikes. The last card set was insect song and well-being. Here, the problem space was that there are various types of intellectual disabilities and behavioral disorders. Some of them are sensitive to various things like touch, loud sounds, and light, etc., which can cause disturbance in their usual activities with peers and families. In inclusive educational environment, there can be various new problems with special needs students because of lack of research and trained caregivers. Here, the narrative was that when an autistic student is walking through a class, a normal student who is unaware of his friend's sensitivity to touch, puts his arm around his neck as a gesture of friendship and talks to other friends. But the autistic students could not say anything, so just as his body's heat changes or he experiences any emotional change, the insect shaped toy on his shoulder will start to make noise to alert the boy. This device will also help the autistic student to calm his nerve and collect himself by playing various cricket sounds that are soothing to hear. In conclusion, the data suggests that educational facilities for disabled children are accessible for those with mobility and visual aid, but we need to go beyond the accessibility part of built environment design and need to include inclusive design strategies, multisensory based design strategies, and universal design environments that can help all children to empower themselves by improving their participation should be developed and adapted in all the schools. Almost 15% of disabled population is in underdeveloped and rural areas, but the importance of inclusivity is less compared to the urban areas. The reason behind it is a fewer funds and lack of trained teachers and caregivers, as well as lack of inclusive and special needs considered approach to the special design and educational equipment. For the design challenge, I will be focusing on creating an inclusive experience for children of all abilities in rural and underdeveloped areas with respect to low cost and easily available materials and spaces.